this apply to budget?
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's workshop.
For sure, that's one of
We
the
have-
added to the decision.
Well, budget workshop. Roy, what do we have?
Yes, sir. We've got several departments that are gonna present today in detail, Mayor and Commissioners. But first, we owed you one request on information, and that had to do with debt. So what we're passing out is the schedule of all of our debt service for general government, for the city side. Doesn't have water, sewer, any of that stuff. So it shows you what the use was on the right, purpose, what we called it. First one is sales tax revenue bonds, taxable series 2016. Shows you the original amount and what the outstanding principal is as of today. And so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they range from drainage to the parking garage at La Plaza Mall, the Texas A&M University building, parks facilities at Station 2. That's a CO that we did in 2018. And then the parking garage. The reason you have 3 is that in order for us to save a little bit of interest at the time, we recommended to the commission that we sell bonds as construction proceeded, and that's why you see 3 of them. And then you've got drainage and traffic. Again, we broke up that bond issue so that we didn't borrow the whole thing up front. That first $4 million was money that we recommended we use for design. We had to not only design drainage projects, but we also had to do the work on traffic. And then we borrowed the remainder, $18.9 million, for the actual construction. And then the last one was a partial refunding that we did in 2021. Total debt outstanding for the city is $109,790,000. Any questions?
Very good explanation.
Refunding a bond, what does that mean exactly?
So it's a refinancing, except when it's bonds, they call it
They call it
refund.
refund.
It's a refinance
So I
that we did
figured.
in 21.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, we've got a schedule of who's presenting today, Mayor. We're starting with Public Works. We're gonna have Public Works, and these are all what we call enterprise funds. Don't impact the general fund, but they're big funds in and of themselves. Public Works, Golf Course, Convention Center, Performing Arts, and Quinta, Airport, McAllen Metro, and the toll bridges. So we're gonna start with Public Works. Ms. Elvira?
Thank you very much, Roy. I'd like to start by thanking the commission for all your support throughout the years, and Roy, thank you very much for your support, your respect, and the trust you have in Public Works. Angie, thank you very much. I recognize the other day how much work you and your team have to do, and I tell you, I respect you very much. Okay? So,
That's his,
Tú dale.
that's
Public
his,
Works, it administers 4 funds through 14 departments with 288 employees, with a combined annual operating budget of $53.7 million. We are divided into general fund, internal services fund.
Somebody trying to steal it.
Put the shock. Sorry.
So we are extremely grateful to our city manager who approved about 97% of our actions. So thank you very much for your effort. So I want to give you an overall
You're a short
of
timer,
what
that's why.
we're working on in Public Works. And
Better be
we're
right
focused
there.
to the sanitation fund. Because sanitation, currently the fund is strong with 131 days of reserve fund balance.
Sanitation.
Rule of thumb is to stay within 120 days or over. The numbers reflect on the working capital for the sanitation fund, an upgrade to the recycling center operations for a total of $4 million, and we're dividing that in 2 years. Over the last 5 years, we have been earmarking $7 million for the recycling center along with our composting facility. So the composting, for this particular fiscal year that we're on, the composting facility, we needed to purchase property for it, so we did that a year in advance. Back in September of 2021, we conducted a feasibility study. We hired a consultant to help us with feasibility study to determine at what the feasibility study reflected that we were at capacity and then we were losing out on the opportunity to generate more revenue. The recommendation was to create a 24-hour service or to upgrade our facility. The 24-hour service obviously would have to double the staff and the expenses, so we opted with the upgrade to the recycling facility. The upgrade will allow us to recover tonnage. We're currently at 52%. The upgrade will allow us to recover 95%. Meaning in money, we're looking at $500,000 annually. We average on $500,000 annually in sales of commodities, and we have the opportunity to get 1.2 million. So it's a considerable difference of $700,000, and that is only with the upgrade itself, the new equipment. That does not take into effect the increase in tonnage or the increase in price of commodity. So we can go from three tons an hour to 10,000 tons an hour. Going from 12,000 annually to 35,000 annually. The return on investment is 7 years. So.
And what's the lifetime? What's the life usage of that equipment?
Over 20 years.
So the investment would be, in 7 years, we would get our investment back, but
Yes.
it has a lifespan of 20 years.
20 years. Yes, sir. We currently have, just to give you an idea, we've been operating that recycling center since 2000 with the manual process. With the equipment that we have. So upgrading that would definitely give us more.
So the department requested 4 million compared to 2 million. I mean, what was the difference in what you expected to get for that added 2 million then? If the 2 million will get you 95%,
No, actually it's 4.9 million. That's what we're proposing to do the expense it out in 2 years. 2,000 one year and
2 million.
2,900 the next year.
2 million.
2
I
million.
mean, no, I'm sorry, million.
Okay, so this 4 million department request, you're saying the recommendation this year is 2 million plus the added pieces.
Yeah, and the reason.
And then next year you're gonna have another 2 million
Right.
request.
Right, the reason we changed it from 4 million to 2 is because once we went through the RFP and we talked and negotiated with the lowest vendor, we learned that the entire expense won't happen next year, it will happen in a 2-year interval. And so that's why we broke it down that way. The actual total cost of the project is 6.9 million, but we are working with grant opportunities. We've got a group called the Recycling Group, it's a nonprofit organization who is willing to give us $1 million. We are very close to negotiating that. Coca-Cola Southwest is also looking at a $500,000, and we are reaching out to NatBank for another $500,000 grant. We did apply for an EPA grant, unfortunately, we were not awarded, but we are not gonna stop.
NatBank does grants?
Very few, but yes. When it
Yeah.
comes to recycling, things like that, they do.
It was news to us too.
Yeah.
This expense will also help us reduce the need to hire temp employees. We spent about $120,000 a year hiring temp employees to help us with the manual loading. And it will reduce about $80,000 in landfill costs.
Who are we selling the material to now?
We sell it to various vendors, but 90% of the time we sell it to Mexico.
To Mexico, right?
Yes.
Those are the time where we used to sell to China and then they stopped buying? Or no?
No, we would sell to North Carolina, Houston, and different places, but we learned that the market here directly to Mexico is giving us a better price. In fact, we're the envy of those northern cities because we have that resource across the border.
Yeah.
They really suffered during the pandemic, and we didn't stick with it because we have those relationships. Really interesting. We have a really good partnership with Coca-Cola. We went from $250 a ton, $230 a ton for selling to Coca-Cola direct, so. The numbers also reflect a $1 increase in the recycling fee to help capture that with a reduction of 50 cents, of 25 cents next year, and then another reduction to 50 cents the year after that. So, just to give you a perspective, the recycling rate was increased from $1.50 to $2 back in October of 2011. That's 13 years ago. And that has been the only increase for the recycling fee since its inception. Other cities, and carefully to other cities that charge a recycling or environmental fee is Brownsville at $2.50, Edinburgh at $5, San Juan, believe it or not, is $11.55, and we're at $2. So bringing it up to and maintaining it at $2.50 will level us off with Brownsville. But there's really no comparison to the service that we provide, because we are the only ones south of San Antonio that offer a recycling program through a municipality. Why invest in this program? The goal is to be a regional facility, so we want to capitalize on the opportunity that we are the only facility of its kind. We want to charge a tipping fee to help achieve the goal of financially sustaining the operation. And the overall ultimate goal is to eliminate the recycling fee for residents in McAllen. Okay? That's what we're doing. And the other program I'd like to talk to you about is the McAllen Shines program. We're doing very well with that program. We're currently, our budget was $912,000. Our estimated balance expenses will be $462, and our proposed expense for next fiscal year is $768, because the street sweepers still not in. Every year thereafter, it'll be $412,000.
Where's the budget for McAllen Shines?
It's under the sanitation fund, under street cleaning.
I think, the numbers seem to catch my attention. 900,000 a year. I brought this up before. I like the initiative. It's well-meaning, but that's a lot of money. And I'm just throwing it out there. It's another Las Palmas or Lard Community Center. That's what it is, and I just have a hard time spending that amount of money on an initiative like this. I just mention it for what it's worth.
It's different parts of an engine as a city. And Las Palmas and the community centers is one thing. Having our city clean and clean for our residents and the visitors another. So it's another pocket kind of thing.
It's another pocket.
Porque you're talking
I still
about
agree with it.
I understand, but you're talking about a budget for Las Palmas, which is under one department, and this is another. So it's
Totally agree, and I'm not going to dispute with you. It's just my opinion. I think it's a lot of money for really for what we're getting, and it's just a comment in general. I'm not looking to make any changes.
No.
It's just
But just remember one thing, Commissioner, that one of the things that we're trying to do over here is create culture. And it's not going to be a budget, it's going to be forever. It's something that needs to be, it's going to be reduced year after year. Because that's the culture that we want to change in the city of McAllen. That's the goal.
and
To educate and
yeah, and to that end, to the extent that we can do things to make McAllen prettier and nicer and cleaner, that doesn't cost any money, I would definitely be advocating that route in terms of using social media and the free avenues that we have to create that change in our community where people take advantage of cleaning their side of the street or whatever the case may be, right? And I know some of the expenses are capital, like, and this, they're not gonna be reoccurring. I understand that, but just a lot of money.
What's the, some detail, the increase in cost of goods sold, 700,000?
And under internal services,
I think I'm in, did I go fast? Maybe I went past. Is this fleet?
major,
I think I jumped to fleet. The one before
Okay,
that
no
didn't have
problem.
anything really.
So the $700,000 is to capture the true expense of what's happening. The internal services fund, fleet and materials management is a wash, it's an internal service. We charge the departments for the services we provide.
Yeah.
So,
So we're just providing a lot more internal service to
Yes.
sort of get it compensated back.
right,
But that's a
So we-
huge increase, isn't it? Like kind of not overnight, but from one year to the next.
it happens annually, we just want to reflect it as it is. So every year, we increase it a little, just
Okay.
to be showing the in and out.
Oh, okay, so it's
a
not,
wash.
okay. Right. Gotcha.
Some more information on
Well, I like the education side of it, especially to the youth. As the McAllen Public Utilities, we spend monies educating them in the youth when they're young, so that they really can educate their parents and their fellow students on those types of issues. Being water is very, very important, being the beauty and the,
It's in,
and the way of changing the morality and changing the way of being of our youth and the whole city. I know that there's some initial monies that it needs to start with, and they'll decline in the future, but I think that it's an ongoing project, definitely ongoing project, and we're always gonna need some type of subsidy for that.
If you allow me, I can give you some of the information and projects that we've already addressed and looking at addressing with McAllen Shines program. We've increased our street sweeping operation by 216 miles. We're now including street medians. And we are looking at sweeping all the center turning lanes. We've got about 1,300 miles of those. We don't have the equipment yet, but we did start the median program already. We've done 5 rounds of those. The plan is to do those every 2 months, so that they
Well,
will
what-
look in.
Because of the knowledge that I have in streets, okay, if you clean your streets, they'll last you longer because of the abrasiveness of rocks and dirt and everything else. So if you do that, you should, through the years, have a little less money in miles that you have to spend money on to rehabbing it. So the cleaning of the streets not only beautifies it, but also has it gives it more life to the asphalt that will last longer. So I don't know if we've measured that, but it should. Yes, it should. You've seen, everybody can notice, you've seen parking lots where there's parking lots that are clean, okay, in a strip center on a regular basis, and then parking lots that are not, and you'll see the potholes and everything on the ones that are not. Because that abrasiveness every time there's a turn, every time there's a backup and stuff like that, and it's dirty and you have rocks, well, guess what? And crash, it grinds the asphalt, especially in the heat. So if you keep it clean, you glide through it, and you don't have, you have better life in the asphalt. So that maybe we're not taking that into consideration. It's hard to measure, but it is.
I got a question, if you know, you know how we're doing the McAllen Shines? And I know the bridges, these bridges here on Expressway, anything, there's textile, right?
Yes, sir.
So, like, I mean, if you pass by, you're gonna see them, they're like black on the sides. Who do we call to get attention on those bridges? I mean, if we're gonna go with McAllen Shines, and, you know,
Yeah, very
we
important.
gotta call textile or whoever we gotta
Textile.
get in touch with to get, because we got the one on South 23rd, that's black. This one right here, like, I know, but it's been years and it's been like that. So I think if we maybe, I don't know, get in touch with them or
We will definitely reach out to them.
just,
We, although the main arterials in the city belong to TechStop, we do sweep them 6 times a year.
no, but you do want
But
to,
not
you don't,
the-
yeah,
not
I'm
the-
talking about the
yeah,
ones
not
on
the
the,
overpasses.
because
There's
that, I
some
mean, that's
springs
like
that
just
run through
pressure
it.
wash, so I don't know what they.
Yeah, needs to be
So we'll
clean.
reach out to them, absolutely.
Do they allow, at TechStop, do they allow us to clean it for them?
I think the short answer to that is yes. You know, we probably need to go through some steps to do it, but I'll tell you, when we have issues with state routes and we report it and they don't do it, Evita does it. And so, you know, we do it on Business 83 all the time, 10th Street. And if we just feel we're not getting, you know, the responsiveness, we'll go, you know, we'll fill a pothole. Or we had a big depression over on Business and Taylor. It took us a while. We used to hit it every day. And sure enough, you know, we took care of it.
Maybe we could get a group together and, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit unsafe, right, because of the cars and all that.
We'll call TechStop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Denle una pala, denle una pala, mi compadre.
Yo junto gente, no te preocupes.
You can be the flag man there.
We can do it.
Mañana.
Nomás dame agua y verás.
All right, back to work. Where are you?
I was just gonna talk about McAllen Shines, the community
Oh,
has
okay.
really embraced it. We, did that launch on July 11th at the McAllen Convention Center. And, the mayor deputized everybody that was in attendance. We went out to the mall and educated and deputized the tenants at La Plaza Mall. We're creating a really great partnership with La Plaza Mall. They're allowing us to place recycling bins and, trash bins at the entrances of the facility. And so, we're also working with MISD. We've educated over 8,000 elementary school students. We're going to advertise at the Jackie-Con. We are, looking at now educating junior high and high school students. We already started reaching out to civic organizations and city departments. We've educated 90% of our workforce about this program. So we're moving forward. We're creating a float for the holiday parade. And so we're trying to get the word out. It's a matter of a culture change, which you all mentioned earlier. So it's going to take time. This is our first year. We've got a lot going on. Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's it? Any other questions?
You got
Thank you so
you
much.
got 97% of what you want.
Yes, sir.
The other 3%, is there something that we really, or we're okay?
I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we've got golf course.
Thank you. Good afternoon, mayors and city commissioners. What I'd like to do is just give you an overall picture of the golf course and then go over the fund balance summary, which should be the first page in the packets. As you may be aware of, golf nationwide has been growing tremendously during the past 4 years.
Page 90.
And we have been no exception. I still recall calling 44,000 rounds per year, a really good year. This year, we're on track to doing just over 65,000 rounds. That is a huge, huge number of rounds. That is typically what you see in some of the bigger cities, not in small cities like ours. And so we're very, very happy with that. when the number of rounds is up, I tell everyone the revenues are up. So, but then, other challenges arise and adjustments, need to be made. But overall, if you look at where we estimate finishing the year, in terms of revenues, it is $2,428,563. That number right there is based on our actual revenue from the month of October through March, plus what we had budgeted. Since we budget back in April, that number is gonna grow by another 200,000, I'm estimating, in the next 2 months. So overall, the revenue side is looking really, really good for this year. And then the expenditure side, which is a little bit higher than what we had budgeted. The reason is that way is because it includes about $160,000 that were not budgeted originally, but were added to the budget during the mid-year adjustments. And so, even so,
There was one in that section.
just based on what I projected back in April, the golf course is gonna finish about $280,000 ahead of expenses, plus the additional 200,000 that are gonna take place between April and, I'm hoping, the end of September. Overall, a great number to be at. We continue to operate with 3 main goals in mind. Number 1, we want to keep a quality golf course. Number 2, we want our revenues to pay for the expenses to operate it. And number 3, continue to fund equipment replacement fund that we have. So for this year, we estimate all of those goals are going to be met, and we're going to have a little bit of money left over. So what we requested, we pretty much got everything that we requested 100%.
And that's because somebody's retiring, it's probably gonna be golfing.
Thank you, Roy, thank you, Angie. But basically, our requests for revenues were based on the average of the last 3 years. What we normally do is we set our expenditure budgets back first. What is it gonna take to continue to upkeep the golf course to the standard of quality that our citizens have come to expect? And then we try to find something logical that fits that number that we feel is attainable and at the same time sustainable. So for this particular request, what we did was we took the average revenue of the last 3 years, and that's basically what you have in front of you. So we're requesting $2,197,000 in revenues. Our expenses pretty much stayed the same. The big difference was some minor adjustments that were approved due to staff changes, small increases in costs, with the big one in our maintenance and operations division being, but we're gonna start fertilizing fairways. We did it this year, and it's made a tremendous difference. We used to allocate most of our resources on the greens, trying to keep those things going. With the additional revenues we have had, we're gonna start fertilizing fairways as well. So that and again, just minor stuff in our maintenance and operation division. No changes in the dining room, golf shop. All the increases are related to increases in play. The more players we have, the restrooms run more, we use more janitorial supplies, credit card fees, water fees, things like that. But overall, the budget has remained pretty stable in terms of expenses. And then for the carts and the driving range division, the increase that you see there from one year to the next, the big one is in the use of the range balls. What the driving range is doing is incredible. This year, we estimate we're gonna finish the year with over $300,000 in revenues just from the driving range alone. And I recall talking to another golf course in our area, and they said, this was 2-3 years ago, he goes, oh yeah, he said, we're gonna start having concerts out here. We're gonna generate $250,000 just from the driving range by itself. Well, we're doing better than that, just selling ranges. And so really, really proud of what the driving range is doing. I think it goes back to some of the investments that we've made, improved lighting that we did last year, the expansion of the driving range tee in 2019 also has really paid benefits to us. So all in all, really well, really good news on the driving range. And we're also spending a big chunk of money to replace the mats that we use when we're not hitting off the grass. But other than that, again, that budget is also going to be pretty much the same. In terms of transfer out, the $250,000 that you see there is to fund our depreciation fund. We use that to buy golf carts as well as mowing, golf course maintenance equipment, mainly mowers. And that's really about it. So really excited. Everything is looking good. We're aware that it's like everything else, we're going to have our ups and downs, but right now we're definitely on an upward trend. So I'll be happy to entertain any questions that.
Real quick on the trail, I remember last year I went out and so there was parts that were like not in very good condition. Do we address that already? Anything else to address?
With the help of Public Works.
Thank you, Public Works.
Yes, we addressed all the ones that we consider broken and in critical need of repair. In addition to that, in recent months, we've also, everything that starts on the north side of the driving range where the UPRGB building is, almost all the way down to the starter's house, we have also replaced that. And so we're gaining on that.
We're getting there. Thank you.
Anything else?
Carlos, congratulations, you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I see it every day. Aquí ando and I see that range is always packed.
Unbelievable.
Always packed. Además, una cosita, creo que le bajes poquito la luz porque no puedo dormir anoche.
It gets you.
Awesome.
Yes.
So congratulations.
You're going to see when you walk out today, just take a look at the parking lot. You're going to be surprised. Of course, today's a busier than normal day because we have our Wednesday sundowner, but both parking lots are going to be fully packed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you for all the support.
Boys, and this parks, don't forget to stock some more bass at Town Lake for Roy.
We're aware of that.
So, ahí está Roy, te
I need
queremos.
to find, I'm gonna have to find some poles, buy some poles. Okay, we got Convention Center, Performing Arts, Quinta.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Commission. I too want to thank Roy for everything that you've done, not only within the budget, but just the support that you've given the Convention Center. And the success of the Convention Center is because of your leadership towards the Commission, Mr. Vera, and just the support that you have given the staff. And thank you, Angie, and your team. I know that we give you a lot of it's a good budget. But we're very grateful for everything that the city manager has recommended. We have 7 different funds. I'd like to give you just a quick snapshot of all of our funds, and then entertain any questions that we may have. Starting with the McAllen Convention Center, we are finishing $1.6 million above budget, and that revenue is $10.2 million in our beginning fund balance for next fiscal year. That's incredible. We've never been in this position. We're also reaching our 18th year, and so what this means to us is, what do we want to do when we grow up, right? How do we want to expand? How do we want to modernize a facility? What do we want to do to be able to maintain the competitive advantage that we have? We know that we have some big ticket items in the upcoming years, which will include the carpets, which will include the roof. I think that they're in very good condition now, but those are things that we're looking at for the future. And I just leave that up just for you to think about throughout the year, what would you like to see in terms of modernizing our spaces so that we can maintain that competitive advantage for the years to come. The revenue that we made this year has maintained consistency with what we budgeted. One of the anomalies there is that we are making more money on food and beverage, which is fantastic. We usually make $450,000 on food and beverage. We estimated $622,000 when this budget was created, but that will probably finish closer to $700,000. That is the second largest single line item for the convention center after rentals. So rentals are always between $900,000 and $1 million, followed by food and beverage, which is doing some great things for the facility. In addition to that, we have about $1.2 million in savings. We try to maintain a very fiscally conservative budget, and if we don't need to spend something, then we won't spend it. And that's why we have that healthy working capital. As far as the convention center is concerned, we are requesting $3.5 million capital outlay, but 2.9 out of that 3.5 million is a rollover from last year. We are working on the storage building, which has gone out to bid, and we're receiving the bids next week. And we also have the pedestrian bridge crossing, which is also part of that rollover. We are also requesting $281,000 in non-capital outlay. Any questions on the convention center?
Just real quick, I think we had discussed it last year, but I can't even see this, it's too small. How are we doing with the carpeting? Remember we had discussed that, the carpeting, the flooring, all that type of stuff? 'Cause I think the convention centers are gem. I think we need to have that looking, 100% all the time on the surrounding areas. As a matter of fact, I don't remember who I talked to regarding some of the other lots that probably aren't owned by us anymore. We need to make sure that whoever owns them upkeeps and does whatever they need to do. But the convention center is our gem. So how are we doing with that? Oh, and I already drank coffee, so I woke up.
So the
We'll
question
come back.
specifically was on the carpet?
The whole thing, the flooring, the,
Yes, so we are on our 18th year of operation. We've had the same carpet since we've opened the
that's
facility.
probably when I go in there, my allergies get real bad.
Whenever we have 2 or 3 days of downtime, we shampoo the carpets. We feel the carpet has maintained very well for these 18 years. It's definitely past its life. A lot of the things are past life of convention center, but they're well maintained. We do have a budget to replace that for next year, but not this year.
As long as we
That's
keep
part
on.
of that's part of our 4-year plan to replace the carpet in the next.
The other area is concrete, how's that doing?
The concrete. We do have some areas that we're working with Public Works to fix the sidewalks outside the convention center, and that is currently.
Or the convention hall?
In the convention hall.
Oh, the
So,
concrete floor?
I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's one of the things that we're looking at. How do we maintain that competitive advantage in the convention center and specifically in the exhibit hall? The flooring inside the exhibit hall is concrete, and so that's perfect for all of our expos and our trade shows. Is there anything that we can do to elevate it for banquets, for galas, for State of the City, for events that are a little bit elevated? And yes, we can do epoxy and different things to the floor. We can also add lighting to the exhibit hall. We have that cafeteria style lighting in the exhibit hall. We're looking at opportunities to have different lighting that would be more conducive to galas or to special events. And the third thing is the acoustics and the perimeter. The perimeter is concrete block, so we're looking at the opportunity to drape the entire facility through the inside, the exhibit hall, to give it that banquet style look that we would be able to change the colors depending on the type of event that we have in the building. So those are definitely things that are on our big ticket items and things to do in the next year.
Have we looked at the cost, or are we gonna phase it in?
We have looked at cost, so for this fiscal year, in terms of the lighting, we do the exhibit hall event down lighting system, is something that isn't approved for this fiscal year, but we're looking at $92,000 to change out the lighting and an additional $50,000 for the rigging system to allow us to drape the inside.
If you do that right now, does it affect everything else that's coming, or does one have to be done before the other?
We can do that this fiscal year. What we do is phase these work orders in between the booked events that we have. So we would need to have some downtime, and in that downtime, we work on all of the maintenance within the facility.
Well, if we can, maybe prioritize that part of it before the holiday season, I think, it would help, and probably have time. You know,
I
you're not
think
gonna
it'd
have
probably
any,
be a little difficult, but I
Yeah.
think, I mean, to me, the convention center area
we're not,
is so important.
if we could jumpstart that in October, the start of our fiscal year, we'll get more usage out of it. That's what I'm saying in the holiday season.
Oh, it look beautiful.
Yeah.
And what about the flooring? Have we looked at costs?
We have looked at costs, I'll have to get back to you, but it's not in this particular budget.
Yeah.
But we have looked at costs, and we would be able to do that next fiscal year as well. So we could do this.
But that also will do quite a bit of downtime, no? Or-
No, we would be able to manage it within the downtime that is currently provided in the facility.
Let's take a look at it. I mean, honestly, to me, the convention center is, that's where everybody comes, they see it, so we can make it even more beautiful. Oh, the other thing, greenery. There's some areas that are starting to look, I'm not gonna say dated, because plants aren't dated, but they look a little down. And I know right now is not the time to plant, but let's work on that.
We are, in our budget, we do have a irrigation system approved that will help us with
Okay,
the
good.
front of the convention center. So that is something that is discussed for this budget.
Excellent.
Any updates with the caterer?
Spectra?
Yeah, how long is their contract, and what's been feedback maybe you've received from patrons as far as what their product is coming out?
So, yes, so the contract was signed in 2019, and it was for 5 years. We did extend it through that COVID year for an additional 2 years. So we have another 2 years on that current contract. From a revenue perspective, we have never received more revenues than we have this fiscal year in the history of the convention center. So I think that we're on a good track. We have more control than we did with the last caterer. We have more control to add more points of sale, to do more things on the concession side and for catering. I think that we've also received a lot of compliments. I know that when you get, one bad event, that will blow away any of the compliments that we get, but we have maintained consistency for the most part on the events that we have in the facility. Of course, food and beverage is always going to be that first thing that gets locked down. If something goes wrong, you have to immediately. One of the things that I will say is that we're projected to make $700,000 this year net on food and beverage. So that is covering all of our costs, and I think that the gross for food and beverage is upwards of $3.2 million.
That's
So
good.
it's definitely a revenue maker for the facility, and something that we consistently, it's a consistency, and there's a lot of communication, and we have to just maintain that relationship with our caterer to make sure that they're at this level.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
The next fund is the depreciation fund. We transfer out $250,000 each year from convention center to a depreciation fund. We currently have $3.6 million in that fund, and the department is requesting $251,000 for replacements of the items that have reached their life expectancy. Any questions on that one?
Nope, 251, okay.
The next fund balance is the Performing Arts Center. We currently have $3.3 million in working capital at the Performing Arts Center. This one's really easy. A lot of the operating costs are paid out to the convention center, which include $1.5 million in the management fee. What we're requesting at the Performing Arts Center is $132,000 in total capital outlay and $82,000 in non-capital outlay. Any questions on that?
Small things like I think you said, we're replacing some doors, right? Like 12 doors?
Yes.
What do we do with those doors? Do we give them to like Habitat, or are they still, I've never seen like a door that's completely unusable.
No, the doors are very much usable. We just want to replace them because of the aesthetic. So they're beat up, and that's not the look that we want to give at the end, especially the doors that are forward facing front of house.
So that's what I'm saying. I know they seem minimal, but can we donate those anywhere? Like Habitat resells those types of things all the time, and people are always picking them up. I don't know.
Um,
I don't know what we do with that kind of stuff if they,
Yeah, we definitely look into that donation. For sure.
yeah.
But the little room up there, I think it's like a little bar. Nobody ever uses, but we used it one time, it was super hot. Is it working or not, or?
We have 3 tower lounges. What we're looking at for, the tower lounge goes over 3 different floors of the convention center, the Performing Arts Center. The first one, what we're looking at is a grab and go, where there's a technology that would be paid through on the catering side, where you literally grab something and you're able to walk out. It has artificial intelligence and it is able to recognize what you're walking out with, which would minimize the downtime in the lines in the lobby level. And then there's 2 additional levels. So those additional levels, what we're looking at is a patron system where we can have parties for group sales before the events. And it's something that we're exploring with Broadway.
But we're not using it right now.
So
right?
that would only be for group sales, yeah. So
But
it's not used to.
But is the system, the
Well,
air working, and,
The mezzanine level is used for an additional bar, and the grand terrace, which is the top one, is one that is not used right now. It's difficult to put a bar there because people want to walk directly outside and grab their drinks. But that space is available for additional revenue. Any questions on that? The next fund is the Performing Arts Center Depreciation Fund, and we have $1.7 million. Again, we transfer out $250,000 each year into this account. We currently have 1.7, and we're asking for replacements of $102,000, which includes the building. Our next
And we
one,
have right around $3 million in that fund,
in
the depreciation
the
fund?
depreciation fund for convention center, yes. At the Performing Arts Center, since the building is newer, we have less money in there,
Yeah.
4.7 million. The next one is Quinta Mazatlan. This is part of the general fund. We're very grateful with what the city manager recommendation is. And what we're requesting is 1 new position and an increase to some baseline numbers to account for the new building advertising and $20,000 to maintain the old building since the building is dated. We're also requesting $65,000 in capital outlay and $11,000 outlay. I'm very grateful for everything we've received.
The marketing for the queue, when's the queue expected to, I guess, officially open?
December of '25.
And so 45,000 to market what exactly? I mean, don't you worry about it getting a little dated, or you might change things?
So we do have to work on a lot of the videos and marketing materials before the opening of the queue, have all of the materials ready, which is right at that budget year, and that's why we requested that for this fiscal year, and not next fiscal year.
So you'll use it towards the tail end of the fiscal
So
year?
we are looking at using it towards the tail end, but this would allow us to have that budget for grand opening.
So they put in the next one is gonna be just like this.
And then the 5,000 for a sign is just a sign that just shows the construction, or what is it, queue growth?
Exactly. So this is showing the signage outside the building.
We're in the wrong business.
Any other questions on Quinta's budget?
thank you.
The next one that we had is a new fund. We opened a 501c3 this fiscal year, and we currently have $147,979 in the working capital. What we're looking at doing with this particular fund is to bring in additional programming and to support the programming that currently exists to have more opportunities, more educational opportunities for students to be able to dance on our stage.
Right.
And so we're really excited about the funding that we've received here. That money will go in and then out. And then, I'm not sure if it's part of the energy, the Friends of Quinta fund? No. Any questions?
Gracias.
The Palm Awards, do we need to do more for it? Doing okay? what is happening?
So the Common Wars is one of our babies, and we've grown that a lot. We've seen some tremendous momentum. We have our first Common War recipient on Broadway right now, and we also have a student that is currently the understudy in Hamilton. So we are putting students on Broadway. We're finally there. We're getting to that level. It's exciting to see what has happened. The Performing Arts Center Foundation will be paying for the rental of the Common Wards and will be helping subsidize the expenses that go into that production. It's a $50,000 production for that day, but in addition to that, there are so many things that we're doing, programming-wise, scholarships, all of these other things that help support the Common Wards throughout the year. And it's going to go hand in hand with that foundation, and that's one of the reasons why we felt that it was very necessary to have a separate foundation that is different from the brick and mortar, so it doesn't take revenue out of the brick and mortar, which is the facility, and so we're fundraising for that, and we want the foundation to be able to pay for those expenses.
Yeah, there's more and more. There's another individual came out of McAllen and made the Palm Awards a few years back, and he's going into Broadway also. Diego Rodriguez.
Diego, yes,
Yeah.
he's the one that's currently on Broadway, he just announced.
Yeah, there's another one, and there's, if we could, promote that one way or another, get MCN maybe to do something with them, I don't know, anything like that would help the performing arts.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it all goes back to the future of the supervisor of that, the impact. So we're able to cultivate the students now, we're able to cultivate the future of season ticket holders, and it's very
Correct.
turnkey. So we're working hard to make it happen.
Anything else?
Thank you for everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Airport.
Thank you. Mayor and Commission, good evening. As you all know, we've had some great activity over the last few years, highlighted by a new service and new airlines that started in February of this calendar year. We started with Aeromexico in February with a daily service to Mexico City, followed by Delta that started to Austin 3 times daily. And then we had Tampa twice a week with Allegiant, and then followed by Volaris with Cancun twice a week in July. We started this fiscal year with a healthy fund balance of about 19.6 million. Operating revenues were up about 8.4%, not considering the COVID relief funds that were expended back in the prior fiscal year. We see the airline revenues increase because of the increased activity, about 5.1%, or over $200,000. We were able to take advantage of some of the non-aeronautical revenue contracts, which is your support services, your support concession services, such as the food and beverage and the retail and advertising. And we're able to increase that. The food and beverage itself, we're able to increase about 127% and get an investment from that vendor. And then also the advertising, which you just awarded last meeting, will be increasing what is estimated a little more than what is on there right now. But we ended the ending 23-24 at a $18.9 million working capital balance. Looking forward to next year, we're looking at revenues also increasing to about 4.2%. And that would increase on the aeronautical side as well as the non-aeronautical side because of that increased activity. On the expenditure side for next fiscal year, because of that increased activity, we are increasing the request on some of the larger accounts to maintain the facilities, which is our facilities and land accounts, including rental, contractual, capital outlay, operating, and janitorial, between 5% and 10%.
We're also gonna look at what's the word I'm looking for on the parking? We're gonna
Parking
redo
rate
our
structure?
schedule.
Rate structure?
Yeah, our structure. Jeremy identified something that's really interesting, and we think that not only can we make more money, but we can get the turnover that we need. We've got a real parking issue in short term, and I think with the structure that we're gonna propose, it's gonna help for sure in getting the people that are just hanging around and not making us any money out of there. And then he's also got a plan for additional parking, whether it's across the street or to the east of the current terminal. But the big one is, and I don't want to take his thunder, but I will, is the terminal expansion. We're gonna throw out a number right now so that when we talk about it, you don't freak out. But I wish I was here to do that. You know, we're looking at about $170 million expansion to the terminal. And the best part.
Is that like, that's like 5 restaurants?
Seven. But the best part is that he's gonna put a business plan to pay for it. So very, very exciting what's gonna happen at that airport, and you should be really proud. Thank you, Jeremy.
Sir.
And would that be, where to be funded at 90%?
80%, and then
80% federal.
80% federal.
Okay.
And then the local match is really PFC, so the passenger's paying for it. The part that we'll have to pay is what we call a wow. We need to come out with a better word than that. But we don't have to make the expansion or the wow part of the expansion, but we're gonna recommend it, all right? Because this is gonna be our last shot for, 30 years. And that part, really, in the grand scheme of things, is gonna be like 5% of the total. And he's gonna come to you for some kind of bond issue that we think we can fund. But it's an amazing project. He's gonna take it to you next month.
Next meeting.
Next meeting,
Already.
to start
But
looking
it's
at.
not in this budget.
It's not in this budget because we're not gonna start building until we finish these. So it's pretty awesome.
You know, the promotion now, and McAllen, now that our airport, is McAllen International Airport. We appreciate the 50 years of the Miller family, being called, Miller International Airport. But, now with all of the promotion that we're doing and the name McAllen comes out in it, it just helps the whole area.
Yeah.
Again, we appreciate and we honor the 50 years of commitment for the give to our community. But I think it just helps out tremendously, the name of McAllen being out there. Because I know that we had during the Olympics, we had a lot of advertisement that went through. We bought that packet and did some stuff, and McAllen was out there. So the top of the mind awareness is very important. It has to continue, and I think we piggyback by spending that money for the airport promotion, but also the name of McAllen coming out. So, yep.
Is that Pollock's Gaster that does the marketing?
Yes, sir. They're under
the
contract
commercial?
for that. Yes, sir.
It was very nice.
Anything else?
That was airport fund. Passenger facility charge fund is the next fund. If there's nothing else.
Passenger facilities.
I think that's page 146. The passenger facility charge, as you all know, it's a federally regulated charge that is charged to the passenger originating there at McAllen International Airport. It averages about 2 to 2 and 2.3 depending on activity a year. As you all see on the this coming fiscal year, we got a fund balance of about 8.7 million. We're looking at a total expenditures. We have some projects that we'll be funding through there, such as a new ARF unit, some professional services, the boarding bridges that we're looking to replace, and some security systems upgrades and replacements, as well as doing the design for the ARF station, the Airport Rescue and Firefighting, and that's a dedicated fire station that we're looking at having as the Station 4 gets replaced as well.
This RFP, just like the one we just got?
Yeah, but this would be the actual station.
Oh, yeah, the station. But there's an ARF unit too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's,
Is it just those two funds? Mr.
Next
Rodriguez?
one.
next one,
Okay.
This one.
next one.
Yes, sir.
CIP fund.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He said,
That's it? We're good? Okay,
Hey, okay.
Metro.
Mayor and Commissioners. I'll be going over the three funds that make up Transit and Downtown Services Department. It's Metro McAllen, Bus Terminal, and Downtown Services. Fund has 104 total employees, and the first one is Metro, it's 152. Before I continue, I'll just city manager's office and budget, we did receive all of the requested items that we had, so we appreciate it, grateful for that and others' support. So if you look at page 152, that's the fund balance summary. We do have projected fund balance of $1.3 million that accounts for about 120 days reserves. The request on the decision package, page 154. The bulk of it is for 5 additional transit operators. If you recall, we recently launched the service expansion for Metro, accounts for about 30% additional bus service. And this request will allow us to run 30-minute headways on 95% of our routes, meaning that instead of the bus going by every hour, it will go by every 30 minutes. So this is the next phase of our transit plan, and so we're excited about having the ability to do that next fiscal year. You'll see that there's a slight difference between the requested item and the recommendation. We got funded half year for the drivers. Strategically, one, to do some cost savings, but also to allow us a little bit of time to plan and execute the next phase of the expansion. The other items are small items, tools and equipment, janitorial, 7,000, 20,000, advertising, rental, contractual increases in those, electricity, water. Total request is $643,152. Just a reminder, we do have another facility that we're operating, so just kind of addressing some of those additional costs. That's the bulk of the request in this fund. I would like to answer any questions. One thing that I do want to add, again, we're adding 5 drivers. Half of our transit operators are graduates of STC Transit Academy. We partnered with STC a couple years ago, and so that's been a godsend to us being able to fill those positions in an industry that struggles to find transit operators.
Wow.
Any questions?
I can imagine big cities, to have all of those operators for the transit, it must be a challenge.
Well, and as we continue to grow, we'll have more and more.
I know, but you kind of take that for granted,
Certainly a challenge.
the safety side.
The next fund is bus terminal, page 160. Again, we have a fund balance of $897,761. Very minimal request. We just asked to increase the facilities from 7,000. That's not going to impact our request on city funds. And then on the capital side, we're just going to finish out some projects that we have ongoing. The only new request is $140,000 for aging support for vehicles and SUV. Other than that, we have some rollover projects. We're finishing out our portion of the Kingdom parking lot or the Kingdom project. we did about $100,000 of sidewalks this year, and then we've rolled over about $1 million of sidewalks that we're doing next year. We have vehicles on order for buses that'll be delivered probably in the second quarter of next fiscal year. And then the electric bus project, we're waiting for funding on that. So we're keeping those hopeful that the next funding cycle will be able to get that funded. All for $11.5 million in capital outlay.
Did we talk about maybe remodeling the bus station at any
We do
point?
have funding for that, and we hope to get that done this year. If not, we'll have a meeting tomorrow with the engineering department. If there's a need to roll over, we might roll over some additional funds, but as of right now, we're hoping to get that done.
Cool. All right, awesome. Thank you. Good.
We have a meeting on that.
Yeah. We gotta work.
We have a workshop.
And lastly, downtown services. That fund is operated with the revenue that we generate, so we're keeping the fund as is, we're not asking for any increases. What I will tell you is that we're working on strategies to increase revenue so that we can do some additional capital projects. Some things that we'll be looking at, are looking at the citation amounts, if there's any need to make modifications to that, parking fees, and purchases. I'm not suggesting that we're gonna make a recommendation to increase, I'm just saying we're gonna look at what the market's doing and see where we're at. But certainly, one of the things that we want to do is explore options to increase revenues.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to justify increasing fees, especially the downtown merchants. They're having to pay. They just get in front of a store or whatever. They're coming down. They get a ticket or whatnot, and increasing that ticket amount, it's going to be difficult for us to be able to tell the residents, hey, that ticket now is a little bit more.
And like I said, we'll look at it and we'll bring it to you and see.
Just a, yeah,
And yet,
on the side.
I'll say this, we are in terms of fees for parking tickets, in terms of, parking costs, we're at the lowest in the state. But I just want to make sure that we look at what other cities in the state are doing, and just let you guys, the commission, have an opportunity to see what's out there, and if there's any opportunities for modification.
Sounds good.
And Monty does a great job with that. The truth is that, when I say this, you're probably gonna realize how true it is. It's the vendors and the merchants that usually push us on the tickets because they want turnover. They want a car to go and shop and get out, and then they want the next customer. Because when you don't have enough parking, we can't do that. So Monty does a good job of evaluating that and making sure that, it's a $4 for a ticket. I get it every 2 days, so, a lot of the revenue is me.
Well, we built the parking garage there, man.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, but people
didn't
don't-
have it a
they
few
don't
years
wanna
back.
walk all
Well, they might not wanna walk it, but there is parking available
Yeah, it
in the
is, yeah.
parking garage that
But
we
that's the
built.
changing of people, the culture and everything, because they park at Walmart, they walk 2 blocks to get into the store, but here, they wanna park right in front of the store.
They'll drive
So it's
around
like-
for an hour.
Yeah.
But it's slowly but surely, they're starting to realize they can park the garage and walk an extra couple of blocks. and
Once they do it once. they
Could
do
there
it every
be
time.
maybe more signage of parking garage here? or whatever? Is there a need for it? I don't know.
I know we put additional signage for this one, but
It's a good idea.
Especially in Spanish, okay?
Yeah, it's Spanish. Majority of people
Parqueadero.
Si no encuentras, vete por teléfono.
Okay.
Sponsored by Perfumeria.
Okay, that it? Thank you, Maria. Any other questions?
I think we're good.
But we don't pay.
Okay, Bridges.
I owe like
Mayor and city commissioners.
Well, first complaint, you all said that Saldua's opens up February 25, and
Let me get to it.
Welcome,
Page
welcome.
172, city commissioner, mayor, when Since his budget, I didn't think it could get any better, but, city manager just outdid me.
It's magic.
Did the recommendations, he's got the numbers. So on page 172, we're looking at the McAllen International Toll Bridge. For this fiscal year, we're ending better than budget at $11,952,186. If you're seeing the estimated, it's gonna be right on the estimated line. That's compared to our budget, that was $11,400,753. So for fiscal year 2025, we're forecasting our toll revenue to be $11,849,863. On the rent and royalties categories, we are estimating to end up at $131,057 in royalties this year, and $2,758,300 in rents, which total $2,889,357. Our budget was $2,724,000, so we're better than budget on that. For fiscal year 2025, we're requesting our budget to reflect the $2,744,478 in rental, and keeping the royalties at $127,804. On the category of miscellaneous, this is where we make up money with Esselgate. Our budget is $105,000. We're forecasting ending up this year at $280,055. Usually we have a nice cushion there in the budget, right? But this year, city manager wants to reflect the budget to say $200,000. Right now. Doesn't make you look.
That's the difference, that's the difference of what we collect it for.
That's the difference of
pay.
the special game.
Peso-
and-
peso.
yes. So we take it to the
Yeah.
Casa de Cambio, that game, that's extra revenue. So this year, we're gonna be, the general fund should be receiving $572,197 for the international. Did I say that right? Y'all hear it?
Say it again.
So our bridge operating expenses, we're estimating to end the year below budget at $2,623,590. Our budget was $2,933,897. For fiscal year 2025, we requested the budget to reflect $2,952,992 in operating expenses, everything else remains the same. Administration expenses and general insurances, we're estimating to end the year below budget at $878,965. Our budget was $987,936. And this year, we're requesting administration and general insurances budget to reflect $1,048,655. Everything basically stays. Any questions on the international bridge?
So the, excuse me, the revenues are, it's pretty flat, is what you're saying.
No.
Wait,
The
wait.
revenues, are
11,
not- the revenues are flat with what we're making this year.
Yes.
And this year, we're above budget. So our budget.
no, I know, I understand that, but your, the budget for 24, 25 is basically what you're predicting for this.
It's what we made this
This
year,
year,
right,
yeah.
which is gonna be above what we budgeted
Yeah,
this last year.
yeah.
So for the San Luis International Bridge, that's on page 184. Our fiscal year, we're estimating to end up with $5,154,952 in toll revenue, vehicle toll revenue, and $804,055 in southbound truck toll revenue. These are the empty trucks going southbound. So this totals $5,959,007, which is almost $1 million over budget. The upcoming fiscal year 2025, now this is where it's gonna get interesting, we're forecasting our toll revenue to be $7,367,646. And the breakdown is $5 million for the vehicle toll, and we're forecasting $2,352,132 for southbound fully loaded trucks. Here we also have a vessel gain, so our miscellaneous, we budgeted $12,204 for rentals and $40,797 for vessel gain. We're collecting our rentals at $12,204 and vessel gains we're making $179,184. This budget, we're also gonna be, our rentals remain the same at $12,204 and our vessel gain is gonna reflect now $81,000. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, brother.
Hey.
Yeah.
Good job.
Best budget ever.
No, you're doing great.
Looks great.
Everything's doing great.
Looks real good.
Is that the last one, Roy?
That's what we got, yes, sir.
Well, there being no further business, anything else, gentlemen? This meeting is adjourned.